All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we got some more blue, yellow ace action lined up for you. That's right. We're going to be messing around with a PRB-02 style blue, yellow ace deck, okay? With some focus on Goa Kingdom, of course, with the new 5-cost ace coming out. All right, so let's go ahead and hop right into this, guys. Very standard layout video. First things first, we're going to check out the deck list. After that, we're going to head over to the sim. We got 3 games to go over today on the sim, and then we will finish up the video with a recap, and I'll tell you guys what I think about this leader moving forward. I will have everything timestamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. All right, guys, let's go and break down the deck list for today's video, starting off with the leader. Ace is a blue-yellow, 5,000 power, 4-life, Whitebeard Pirates type leader with the effect Dawn ×2, activate main once per turn. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Add up to 1 5-cost character card to the top of your life face up, then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then at the end of your turn, you have to send all of your face up life cards to the trash. Okay? So I've done quite a few videos on this leader, and I have an entire playlist. Okay, so if you like what you see today, guys, if you're a newer player checking it out, or if you're a player just trying to get into Blue Yellow Ace for the first time, I have an entire playlist. I will link that in the comments section below of today's video. Okay, all right, now we're going to go through the entire deck list real quick, guys. If you're a newer player or if you don't know what all these cards do, I'm going to mouse over each one, so be sure to pause and read what each one does as I go over them. Okay, so we're running 2 Charlotte Pudding. We're running 2 Port Ghasti Ace. Now, we're running quite a few different Port Ghasti Aces, guys, so I'm going to try to break down each one. We're running 2 of the 5-cost EB-02 Ace. We're running 4 of the 5-cost Blocker Ace. Running 2 Nami. Running 3 of the 7-cost Kazuki Odin from ST-13. Running 4 Garp. Running 4 Viola. Running 4 of the 2K counter Sanji. Running 3 Zeus. 3 Otama. 4 of the 2-cost Goa Kingdom Ace. Excuse me. 4 of the 2K counter Satori. 3 of the new PRB-02 Ace. 4 of the Rush Ace. And then 4 of the 3 Brothers Bond Searcher event from ST-13. So, what are we trying to do with this deck? And let me actually, before we even dive into that, I just want to show you guys, this list here is focused on PRB-02. At the time of me recording this video, it is September 27th. And check this out, guys. PRB-02 is actually coming out in just, it's coming out on October 3rd. So it's coming out very, very soon for us over here in the West. So I want to have all the Blue-Yellow Ace players with an updated list. I want to have that available to all the Blue-Yellow Ace players who are interested, in upgrading once we get PRB-02. Okay, so let's go back to the sim now and kind of break this list down. Now, I will say this. Yes, we are focusing on PRB-02 primarily because of the new release coming out in the West. However, in my testing, just in general, not even just testing Blue Yellow Ace, just from some things I've been thinking about and putting a lot of time and effort into trying to figure out the new OP13 stuff as well, I think this is probably the correct direction for the deck moving forward. I've mentioned this before, guys. We're just going to kind of yap about this for a second. When it comes to OP12 and even OP13, it seems like the best way to be successful in this game is by either flooding the board or, dealing with the flood on the board. Okay, that's kind of been the name of the game for One Piece ever since the beginning. The ways of doing that have changed a little bit here and there over time, but as long as you're doing one of those two things, either A, flooding the board, or B, dealing with the flood on the board, you're probably going to be doing okay. Okay, now with this deck here, I feel like you're doing both things simultaneously, though. On top of that, you have the ability to gain life with cards like Viola and Sanji. And then on top of that, we also have ways to mitigate life loss with our leader effect, with this Zeus and Otama, right? Whenever we try to, typically when you play out Zeus, you're losing a life card. Well, with Blue Yellow Ace, not really. Technically we still lose a life card, but it's really not even that bad because we put the life card in our life from our deck. Almost like we're gaining a life, but it would go away at the end of the turn from our effect, and then we just pull it back to our hand with a Zeus and still pop a 5 or less. So we have ways to mitigate life loss, we have ways to gain life, and something else that's becoming very important, especially going into OP13, we actually have ways to increase the power of our leader. Okay, we're seeing a lot of 6,000 power and now even a 7,000 power leader going into OP13. Okay, with red purple Roger. Okay, well, let's fight fire with fire. We can actually become a 7,000 power leader almost indefinitely with this deck. Not literally, but you can actually become a 7,000 power leader over and over and over again with a certain combo we're about to talk about in this deck, as long as you have 5-cost ace characters to pull out of your deck with your leader's effect. Okay, that will be the only limiting factor. But there's a combo we're about to talk about where we can just continuously stay at 7,000 power with our leader as long as we have this Odin and Ace on the board. Okay? All right, so what else? So I do think this is the way moving forward for Blue Yellow Ace. Now, as far as from PRB-02 goes, we only need 2 cards from that set, but they're actually very, very strong cards. This Otama is going to allow us to do things later in the game. Check out what this character does, guys. It's a 2-cost, 2,000 power character with a trigger to rest a 4 or less, and then activate main. You may rest this character and add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Okay, that's a very steep cost, just like with Zeus, right? However, that's not really a big deal for us because of our leader effect. We get to instead, I mean, imagine this card, instead of saying, take a card from your life, it's basically saying draw a card instead. Okay, while doing this extra effect here to increase the power of one of your leaders or characters for the turn by 3,000. Okay, really powerful stuff going on here within the Blue Yellow Ace package. And then, of course, we already know what Zeus does, same idea. I mean, imagine if this card just said, on play, draw the top card of your deck and then KO a 5 or less, and it's on a 2k counter body. Like, that would just be insane, right? Well, that's almost what this card does within Blue Yellow Ace's leader package. Okay, so we have this Otama. This is going to allow us to buff our leader or a character for the turn by 3,000. And remember, we're only paying 2 costs to do that. Okay, and we're not really even losing a life in the process if we combo it with our leader's effect, right? So in other words, we use our leader's effect, we play out Otama, that's only a 4 Dawn investment, we tap down Otama, and then we buff whatever we need to. Again, it can be a leader or a character by 3,000 for the turn, and then we go from there, right? And that was only a 2 Dawn investment. And like I said, the most important thing about this card with an Ace is we're basically paying 2 to draw a card, to draw a card, and we're getting plus 3,000 instead of just a plus 2,000 that 2 Dawn would normally be able to give us. Really, really powerful stuff going on here for Blue Yellow Ace. And then the second card, Port Goss the Ace, the 5-cost 7k from PRB-02. On play, if you have a face-up life card, so make sure not to mess up the sequencing when you try to pull this card off. Okay, if you have a face-up life card, play up to 1 Sabo, Ace, or Luffy with a cost of 2 from your hand or trash. Very, very powerful effect here, guys. And I mean, like, outrageously powerful, right? Because understand what this is doing. This is the Ace we're pulling out of the trash, obviously, right? But here's what we're doing. Think about it. Let's say the turn before, let's just say we're on a 4 Dawn turn for this example. We put 2 Dawn on our leader. We put a 5-cost, let's just say we put the 5-cost blocker Ace into our hand, or excuse me, into our life from our leader's effect. Play out the 2-cost Ace. Okay, now we're a 7,000 power leader, and we're pushing out a 6,000 power blocker on the board that lets us fix our hand. Okay, great. Now after that, we attack in for 7 with our leader and move on from there. Now next turn, okay, I probably should have given like a 5 Dawn example, because let's just say we get to like an 8 Dawn turn or higher. Actually, it would technically start at a 7 Dawn turn or higher. Listen to what we can do then. Okay, 2 Dawn on our leader. Put an Ace into life. Let's say for this part, for this example, let's say we get the 5-cost 7k Rush Ace. Okay, well, that was 2 Dawn. We only have 5 Dawn left, so we can't play out like a 5-cost character and a 2-cost Ace, right? Well, not quite. Now we can. With this 5-cost 7k Ace, we can play this out and pull the 2-cost Ace we used earlier from the trash. And now our opponent is in a lot of trouble, right? Because we're actually flooding the board in the process while going 7,000 power in life. Or 7,000 power on our leader. Really, really strong stuff here, because you're playing out the 5-cost, which is cheating out the 2-cost, and then we're going to cheat out the 5-cost 7k Rush character from our leader's effect in that specific example. Okay, now we have to talk about a combo now. Guys, there's a combo now with Blue Yellow Ace, and it is very, very strong, guys. I'm just going to remove everything from here so you guys can see what we're going to be dealing with. Okay. So, now that I got everything set up here, check out this combo we have access to within Blue Yellow Ace. Okay, and it's really mainly with this Odin here and this new 5-cost Ace. So on a 10 Dawn turn, Odin is already in play, right? He's been in play like from a previous turn. Now, on 10 Dawn, let's say we attack in with our Odin for 8. Wherever we had to attack, that's fine. Now, what do we do from there? We put 2 Dawn on our leader, and we put one of these aces into our life. Either the 5-cost 7k ace or the 5-cost 6k ace. Any of the other aces will be fine as well, but these two, these two primarily are the ones we're looking for. They're the best options. So let's just say we're on 2 or less life, and we put this ace into our life, right? Okay, now, for 5 Dawn, we play out this Portgosti ace, okay? The new PRB-02 ace, right? That is going to allow us, since we have a face-up life card, we're going to be able to put the 2-cost ace from our trash, one of these, put it into play. Okay, but we've still only used 7 Dawn, right? Now, from there, what we can do is we cash in on that ace to cheat out the ace we had in our life and buff our leader by 2,000. So we're going to be able to swing for 9,000 for the turn, okay? Because he's a 7,000 power leader now, and he still has the 2 Dawn on him. He's swinging for 9,000, okay? And we just put this into play to swing for 7,000 more. Okay, well, guess what? That's only 7 Dawn. Oh, that's convenient. We only have 3 Dawn left, right? We have 3 Dawn left that we're able to work with for the turn, okay? Oh, what do you know? This effect here by Odin, read it, pause and read it very carefully, guys. We only need 3 Dawn, okay? We only need 3 Dawn left to work with, and now we can pull back a character to our hand. Well, if we just attacked with the ace we just put into play, maybe we pull that one back. But for the combo, we want to start pulling back this ace. So hear me out, guys. Now, we can pull back any of these other cards. We can pull back, I mean, you can pull back any card with this effect, but some other really strong options. Garp, we can pull back later in the game to start getting more and more value from this character. Zeus to start taking out our opponent's field. Otama, after using the effect on our Odin, we can start pulling this card back. There's a lot of very powerful options. But check out this combo, guys. If we already have the 5-cost 7k on the field and the Odin, that's when things get really disgusting. So say we attack in with our ace first for 7, then we attack in with our Odin for 8. Then we attach 2 Dawn to our leader, and we pull back this ace, because we want to do that anyway, right? Because he already attacked for 7, and now he's sideways. We don't want them to attack into this ace. We need that back. Okay, well, pull it back to our hand with Odin's effect, replay it for the turn, cheating out the ace because we used our leader effect to put an ace on top of our deck. We play out that ace. Now we're going to be able to swing in for 7k with this ace if that was on top, or we have a blocker now, and then we swing in for 9 with our leader, and then 8 with Odin if we choose to. It just becomes such an incredible combo. There's a lot of play lines that are possible too. You don't just have to do that one, but that becomes a recurring effect there where we can just continuously do that every single turn if they cannot deal with this ace right here. And if you're playing against a deck that has a lot of removal, well, you can just keep recycling this ace if you want to. So in other words, this is what the turn might look like. Check this out, guys. This is actually pretty disgusting. Without even having to keep this card on the field. Because remember, guys, they can't remove this Odin. The only way they're going to remove this Odin is if you leave it sideways and they smash over top of it, right? Because you can trash 2 cards as many times from your hand as possible to save this card. You can use his effect, where it says if this character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may instead trash 2 cards from your hand instead. You can continuously do that multiple times a turn. That's not a once per turn effect. So check this out, guys. If you just have Kazuki Odin on the board, right, on a 10 Dawn turn, you can swing for 8 with Kazuki Odin, okay? Attach 2 Dawn to your leader, put an ace into your life if you find one. You do have to find one. That's like one of the, that's the one stipulation is you have to hope to find an ace to put into your life. Okay, no problem. If you do that with the leader's effect, play out the 5-cost ace. Okay, that's 5 Dawn, right? And then from there, you cheat out the 2-cost ace, pushing the ace from life onto the board, and now you're filling up the board. And then with the remaining 3 Dawn, you pull back this ace, the one that I have highlighted right now. You pull that back to your hand, and you just rinse and repeat every turn, and you're swinging for 8, 9, 8 every single turn at least. And then maybe even a 7k, and that's if you're trying to protect this card by pulling it back to hand against decks that have super high removal. Okay, a lot of stuff going on there, guys. Let me get the actual deck back on the screen here. In general, though, I do think this deck is just very solid overall, and we've got some pretty decent games to check out on the sim in just a second here. But let me just finish up the the deck breakdown by saying this. We're running the 4-cost pudding in here because it's just insanely powerful. I would like to maybe fit in 1 or 2 Gum Gum Red Rocks. Maybe we don't have to run all 4 of these Three Brothers Bond. maybe we don't have to do that. Who knows? But there's a few revisions. We'll talk about more as we get to the end of the video. But that's enough yapping about this. Let's go ahead and hop over to the sim and check out this deck in action. All right, first game up we have against Green Jewelry Bonney. All right, so the volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Now, one thing I have to say, guys, is there will probably be some OP13 cards in my opponent's decks, because right now with the way the sim is, I don't think you can play PRB-02 stuff just yet without also being in the OP13 format. Okay, so they're going to play out Kashiro. We are going second. We do want to go second as much as possible, okay? So right now, watch this though, guys. Now that we're running the 2-cost Goa package, okay, we're going to be able to use our leader effect pretty much right away every single turn. Now, I did want to get rid of that Kashiro because that is a blocker and it is a form of anti-removal. That's why I wanted to get rid of it in case they play out something that I couldn't deal with later. Even though that's not a slash character, I still want to get that off the board. Okay, we're going to put Satori on top of life here. And I think, guys, I think we're actually just going to get rid of this character. Okay, we're going to swing for 7. We're going to use Zeus, get rid of that character, play out the 2-cost Sanji maybe. It looks like I'm considering it. I think I'm just going to pass. Yeah, instead I'm just going to keep that in hand. Because of the way Bonnie's leader effect works, the 2-cost Sanji is not great in this matchup because they could just shut down your leader. You can still gain life the first thing you do, but I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it. Okay, so we're going to swing 5 into 5 here. They're going to rest down one of my Zeuses. We don't care at all about that card. We're going to play out Kazuki Odin, play out Garb. We're going to fix our hand a little bit. We already have a 2-cost Ace, so we didn't actually need another one. We are going, once you have your 1-2-cost Ace, now you just have to get to your 5-cost 7K PRB-02 Ace, and you can just rinse and repeat, you know, recycle it the entire time. Okay, there's another one. We'll probably trash one. Actually, we just get rid of the 5-cost Ace. That's fine. And then here we go. Okay, now we're on a 10-Dawn turn. We have Odin in play. We're good. Guys, we're at a point now, and check this out. We're at 2 life, which is perfect. We're going to find the 5-cost Ace here. Okay, we're going to put that on top of our life. We're going to fix our hand a little bit. I really wanted to grab the 5-cost 7K PRB-02 Ace. However, not the right time right here. Okay, we're going to swing 8 into 6. They're going to rest down my leader, but that's okay. We have another attacker since we grabbed the Rush Ace. No problem. Okay, we're going to go ahead and play out the 2-cost Ace here. Actually, we're going to pull back the Zeus. Check this. Guys, check this out. We're going to pull back the Zeus. We're going to swing 8 more into it first, I think. Let's see what happens. Now, he knows I pulled back the Zeus. Watch this, guys. Watch what happens here. He knows we pulled back the Zeus. I'm going to swing 8 into 6. Okay? Does he want to give me the blocker, knowing that I'm just going to get rid of that, knowing that I'm just going to get rid of this card? Okay, he does not. Well, now that's going to change things. Now we're going to play out the 5-cost 7K Ace. We have 2 or less life, so it has Rush. We're swinging 7 into 5. He takes it down to 2 life. We're going to do some searching here. Okay, we find a 5-cost 7K Ace. And now I think we're actually just going to probably pass the... Okay, looks like we're going to play out this this Zeus and just get rid of that Bonnie. It's like, you know what? You're on a 10-Dawn turn. I know he wants to play Doflamingo here, guys. Guys, Jewelry Bonney still runs Doflamingo, okay? Yep, he plays that out. Oh, but what's this, Odin? Okay, I'll just pull back a Zeus to my hand. Yeah, I'll just pull back a Zeus to my hand. And he couldn't attack into my leader last turn because I was a 7,000 power leader. Okay, swinging for 8. We're going to attach 2 Dawn to our leader. Use his effect. Nice, we find a 5-cost Ace here. Perfect. And now we have the 5-cost PRB Ace in our hand. Watch this. Pulling back the 2-cost. We're flooding the board now. We're attacking aggressively. My opponent is in a world of trouble. I don't know what they're supposed to do in this situation here. I actually have no idea. Notice I have 2, 4, 6, 8, I think like 10K counter in hand. I was moving stuff around in my hand. I don't know what it was exactly, but I have something like 9 or 10,000 power counter in my hand. He's not getting rid of any of my characters, and I'm a 7,000 power leader. So he can't just like go for lethal. I mean, he can. He could try to go for lethal, but I don't think it's going to go very well because he'd have to swing 12 and swing 13. Okay, he plays out a Shanks, but again, guys, what are they supposed to do here? Okay, and we have the Rush Ace in hand if we need that. Well, first we're going to swing it for 9. He taps down one of my characters. Okay, pull back the Portgasti Ace to my hand because I'm going to recycle that. We're coming in for 7. Pause. The game's just over because it was going to be swing 7, swing 9, swing everything on leader. There was no way out of it. Good game to my opponent. Once you start getting the Odin going, that's basically all she wrote, guys. It's going to be very hard for your opponent to deal with this card once it's on the board, talking about the Odin. Okay, good game to my opponent. That was against Jewelry Bonney. Now let's check out this game we have against Green Zoro. Green Zoro is a much tougher matchup right now, at least in my personal opinion. Some people might have a different opinion on that. Versus, Bonney versus Zoro. It probably comes down to play style. Okay, so they're going to go first here. They're going to play down the Verona. Like I said, we want to go second, guys. And I can't remember if I mentioned this or not in the intro or at the deck list breakdown. But I have an entire playlist of blue, yellow, ace games. So if you guys want to check that out, I will have that in the comment section below, the entire playlist. Okay. All right, so I play out Garp. Turn 1, I go Three Brothers Bond into Garp. I'm fixing my hand. I have 2 of the 2-cost guys, and that's what we want to do now. Like I was saying in the first game, now that we have these 2-cost ace cards, we actually are really happy going second. Because watch this. Okay, we counter out of their 5k attack. No reason to take a 5k in this version of the deck, guys, unless I really need to get down to 2 life very quickly for my rush aces. Okay, we're going to play out this ace. We can't do anything with the effect because we don't have a face-up life card. Yeah, that new PRB-02 ace, the one weakness with that card is it's not very good playing off the top of your life. Okay, they tap my guy down. We're going to go in 2k counter out of that, and then they attack in. We get a trigger. Very nice. We're going to get the 2-cost, another 2-cost ace here, and then we're going to push the rest to the bottom. Okay, we're down to 3 life, but not the worst thing. We can gain life whenever we need to with Viola. All right, here we go. So we're going to grab this ace here. Now, unfortunately, we're only at 4 life, or we're on 3 life. And when we use this, we're on 4 life technically, and when we use the effect, we'll still be on 3 life, so we can't use it to rush. But that's okay. That's not a terrible thing. Okay, so right here, we're swinging for 7. They have no blocker. They're deciding whether or not they want to give me a few 1Ks here, maybe. It looks like they're really considering, because I think if they had a 2K and a 1K, they would have used that. Right here, I'm not going to be able to rush, like I was saying. I swing it for 9. We had a slight play mistake here. We should have used Viola at the very beginning of this turn to see what cards he drew for the turn. That was a play mistake on my part, but hey, it does happen. Okay, it's unfortunate we didn't take that first 5K hit like that first 5K attack like I was saying, because then we could have been way more aggressive this turn. Okay. All right, so right here, now we do want to protect our ace as much as possible, but it looks like we're not going to be able to. Okay, they're going to go Perona into 0. Yep, we're going to let that go. Perona 2K into 0. We'll let it go. And now 7 into 1. We're going to save it. I don't know why. I should have just let this go, guys. There was no reason. I couldn't save the card, and instead he can only attack into my life. That was another play mistake. Okay, I get an Otama trigger off the top, but we're not going to cash in on that. We can't do anything with it. Very nice. We have another rush ace coming in here, guys, and we have all of these 2-cost aces to just keep recycling with, or to keep doing this effect with. Okay, so it looks like, and guys, I don't think we're going to go for the board here. I think we're probably going to be going for face. Okay, now they have 1 Dawn available, so they might have something like a Paradise Waterfall, or even the 1-cost 3K Dead Man's Game. Okay, so 8 into 5. Yep, they have 2 Sword Style Rashomon. And now we're going to use the effect, the 2-cost ace in our hand. We're going to come in for 8 more here. And then we're coming in for 9. Guys, brutal. And now we're actually just going to play out this Viola and pass the turn. Now watch this. My opponent's like, okay, I mean, I can't survive next turn, so I'm just going to try to go all in here. Now we're going to look at their hand in a minute, guys. They definitely had another option available. But we'll talk about it in just a second. Okay, they're going to go 7, 7, 7, 8 here. I can get out of almost every one of them, to be honest, but we're going to take these aggressively. He has no Dawn left. I want him to fully commit here. Yep, get out of that. We'll 1K, and then we'll 2K to get out of this, and that's going to be game. Okay? Now, right here, let me pause and talk about what they had. They had Electrical Luna in hand. They had, what's his name, Mihawk. Okay? They more than likely should have just played out the Mihawk. They're on a 9 Dawn turn, so they'd have 5 Dawn left for the turn to work with. They could use 3 Dawn for Electrical Luna, and they could actually swing everything into my face and go for lethal on the following turn with the Hody Jones. Okay, that's definitely something they should have considered for sure. That doesn't mean the game's just over on the spot. However, it would have helped them out big time. But, you know, at the same time, notice what's in my hand here, guys. Or, excuse me, notice what the next card is I would be drawing for the turn. It'd be very tough for them to survive when I hit them with a pudding and then go from there, right? And then we have blockers we can play out. And like I said, now they do have the Hody Jones, but if we had hit that with the pudding and they didn't get another one, then we could have maybe won through that. It's hard to say, but let me just say this right up front. For full clarity, this Zoro should not have made that play. They probably forgot that the effect of these 2-cost Goa characters, or maybe they didn't know, the 2-cost Goa characters last even on my opponent's turn. Okay, so I was a 7,000 power leader. If I was a 5,000 power leader, I think they should have done this play. However, I'm a 7,000 power leader, and they shouldn't have done it, so I think instead they should have gone Dracula Mihawk, Stand 5 Dawn, Electrical Luna, lock down my board, and then use 2 Dawn accordingly to maybe attack a bunch of 7Ks into my face or into my board or into my leader, whatever. Go from there. You know, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Good game to my opponent. All right, we got one more game, guys. We got a game versus Blue Purple Luffy. Okay, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Okay, we sent back the first hand. We probably shouldn't have, to be honest. We got hit with an even worse hand, but we do have a lot of ways to sift through the deck now with these 5-cost aces. All right, we're just going to use the leader effect. We're going to start setting cards on the bottom of our deck in a specific order, and that way I can kind of start mapping how my deck is laid out. Okay, so I got those cards out of the way, and I have a 5-cost ace at the bottom of my deck now, at least 4 from the bottom of my deck. They're going to go 9 into 5. We're just going to take that, okay? Now, unfortunately, we don't have the 2-cost ace just yet. Now, we find a Nami with our leader effect here. You know, we attach 2 Dawn to our leader, put Nami on top. We're going to swing for 7 into 6. He did play out a 2K counter. There's another 2K counter. And now we play out Viola to put the card face down. Okay? We have a blocker. We're back up to 4 life, which we're not necessarily trying to stay at 4 life. Remember, guys, we do want to get down to 2 life as controlled as possible, right? As in the most controlled way possible, we are trying to get down to about 2 life. Okay, they play out a gear 2. They're going to ramp Dawn. They're at 6 Dawn. Next turn, they'll be at 8. They're going to swing for 8. We're going to take it. And now we draw a 5-cost 7K rush ace from our from the top. But we're about to use this entire turn here to set everything up, guys. Watch this. We're going to play out the Nami. Beautiful. Pause. Pause. Okay, check this out. We played out Nami. Top 3. We draw 3 cards, and we have to put 2 cards back on the top or bottom of our deck. And we drew into a 2-cost ace. Literally perfect for what we're trying to do. So we're going to put the 5-cost 7K rush ace first. So it's like on the second card from the top of our deck now. And then on top of that, we're going to put the 5-cost 7K PRB-02 ace on top of that. I want to keep as much counter power in my hand as possible. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's perfect for next turn. Watch, that does matter because look at this, guys. They're about to attack in, and I'm going to aggressively take this hit here to go down to 2 life, and I'm not going to use the trigger that I get. Okay, they just bottom decked my Nami. Watch this. Oh, there's a trigger. We're not using that because we have the top of our deck set up properly for that rush ace. There we go. I'm going to set the rest accordingly, however I want to put the bottom of my deck. Now, I play out the 2-cost ace. Now I'm swinging in. I think we're going to go 8-10, I think is what we're going to do here. Yeah, it looks like we're going to go swing 8, swing 10. Okay, we've already seen 2 2K counters. Yep, there goes that. Now we're swinging in here. They will be on a 10 Dawn turn here, but that's okay. Now we're going to smash in for 11, it looks like, and they're going to go down to 1 life here. Okay, very nice. And our hand is stacked, and here's the really messed up part for my opponent. They're not going to want to use pudding this turn. If they even have a pudding in their hand, they probably don't want to use it because my board is still massive, right? If they play out a pudding this turn, okay, well, you're probably not getting rid of my 5-cost 7K, and I'm going to be able to just keep bashing in. Whereas what they're probably going to want to do here is play out some type of 8, 9, or 10-cost character, right? That's kind of how things go. And they play out the 8-cost Goldie Roger. Okay, that's very fortunate for us. They did not combo it with the Sanji. That worked out very well for us. Okay, but sometimes Luffy doesn't have 100% consistency, right? There are things that can mess it up a little bit. Okay, let's see what they choose to do. Where are they going to attack? 9 into 7. We're actually going to 2K, 1K to get out of that. I want to keep my blocker for next turn. Okay, this is where things are going to start getting out of hand for my opponent. I get the 5-cost 7K ace. Very nice. I arranged the bottom of my deck like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and play out the 5-cost 7K PRB-02 ace and start pulling cards back from the trash. I got to do some math right here. We're going to swing for 8. They 1K counter out. Okay, play out this ace. Play out the 2-cost. Playing out the 5-cost from the top. Now I'm swinging for 8 more. And guys, we're getting very aggressive on the board here. We're taking cards from their hand. And that helped us flood the board with a bunch of 7,000 power characters, get more cards out of my opponent's hand, and then I still have my leader attack, and I have a blocker. Okay, let's see what they choose to do here, guys. They really need, I think they're going to Gum Gum Giant. Yeah, so they choose to Gum Gum Giant here, guys, trashing the Red Rock. Yeah, that Red Rock is not going to help them versus me. If it was a Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger, okay, that might have been insane here. But even that would have slowed them down a little bit. Okay, well, now they're back down to a 6,000 power leader. Are they going to be able to chain Goldie Rogers? Because I think that might be their only chance here, guys. I'm not letting them have anything on this board. Look at my hand. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10K counter in hand. Okay, they just did a blind rip Sanji, by the way. In the game, they chose to put the cards on the bottom of their deck. They played out a Sanji. They got a blind rip, pulse. They got a blind rip Sanji, playing out the Usohachi to rest down my, they didn't even rest down the Shirahoshi, but here's the thing, guys. They should have rest down Shirahoshi and then swung 6 into it with their Luffy, and then 10 into one of my characters, but I have a 2K. They're not getting anything on my board. And then next turn, guys, we're just going to beat in. We're just going to keep mercilessly beating in at this rate, guys. And because we have, now I will say this, we don't have the Ace, or excuse me, the Odin already on the board. We were not able to set up an Odin. But that's okay, I think. At this point in the game, I think we just end up doing like a blind rip. Let me see. Sometimes I mouse over my cards. Let's see if I show what was in my, like the top cards of my deck. No, I don't. I don't end up showing. Sometimes I'll mouse over the cards at the top of my deck to see what was coming. But in this situation here, guys, worst case scenario, we just establish a bunch of blockers and just beat in for a bunch of 8Ks across the board. But here's the thing. Swinging 8K across the board, I don't think they're going to get out of this. Watch this, guys. So 8K from the first attack. Look at their hand. They can't get out of it. So they have to take the first 8K. They draw into a Gum Gum Giant. Okay, next 8K, they have to use the Gum Gum Giant. And look what the first card they draw is, a Goldie Roger. So the most they could have is one more 2K counter. Okay, well, I still have another 8K attack coming in. That will get the 2K and 1K counter if they even drew into it. And then finally, everything's going in on my leader, and I'm going all in. So, hey, it happens. Good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. Okay, let's go ahead and check out this deck list. Good game to all my opponents, of course. Those are, Blue-Yellow Ace is such a blast, and that was some really interesting games there. I tried to target some OP12 relevant leaders still, like Bonney, Zoro, and Blue-Purple Luffy. But guys, I think Blue-Yellow Ace, I felt like the only thing that was holding this leader back, back when I was really trying to make it work at the beginning of OP11 and going into OP12, there were two decks in particular that were really holding this leader back. It was Green-Purple Luffy and Blue-Purple Luffy. Okay, well, they're kind of gone now. Blue-Purple Luffy is still sticking around. You know, it's still hanging around there. And Green-Purple Luffy is there as well. But they're not nearly as represented in this format as they used to be, like in OP11, right? So, I'm going to be honest, guys. I think Blue-Yellow Ace is not in the worst spot. Now, what else do I want to talk about here? There is one other thing I want to really consider moving forward. I don't know if we necessarily need Garp in the deck, the one-cost Searcher Garp, or even this event. And I'm actually strongly considering running the one-cost blue event. It's called Thank You for Loving Me, is what it's called. It searches up any Whitebeard Pirates type card, or a card named Luffy. Now, there is no Luffy in the deck currently, but if we include a card like this, maybe we can start including a card, you know, we can start including Luffy in the deck. But the main thing I love about this card is, I've mentioned this many times now, guys. Notice that very last part. Then place the rest of the cards on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. On the top or bottom. It's only a top 3 search that can only grab Whitebeard Pirates cards. Okay, well, it's searching the most relevant cards in the deck, like Odin and Ace, right? Any of these Aces and Odins, we can search those up, no problem. Okay, but, all right, but what happens if I search over something like this 2-cost Ace? Well, no problem. Where'd the card go? Okay, there it is. No problem. We can just put it on the top of our deck. We'll just arrange it where it's still on the top of our deck, no problem. So that's something we should really, I think I'm going to really consider moving forward, is basically dropping 4 of Three Brothers Bond for 4 of Thank You for Loving Me. Because there's a ton of searchable cards in the deck with this current format without any extra revisions. Just literally changing out the searcher for, the yellow searcher for the blue searcher here. Okay, we can still search up 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 4 is 13, plus 3 is 16, and maybe that's it. So it is only 16 to be fair. But like I said, we can move some ratios around now. Maybe we get rid of Satori. Maybe we don't even need Satori anymore for this version of the deck. Maybe we go -4 Satori for +4 of the new 5-cost 6,000 power 2K counter Ace. Again, I'm not saying that this card's better than Satori, but for this specific deck, maybe it is technically better, because it's one extra target that we can hit with our Port-Cost D Ace from the top of our life. It is still a 2K counter, it's still a 5-cost card and everything, and it is a 6,000 power body, but we lose the trigger, right? That's the main thing, is we lose the trigger. However, then it becomes searchable by this card. So if we do that, we move from, so it was 6, 10, 14, 20. right? So then we go to 20 searchable targets in the deck, I believe. I kind of did that quickly, but hopefully that made sense. Actually, this card can search itself up. If your leader's type includes Whitebeard Pirates in it, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 card with Whitebeard Pirates included in its types, or Monkey D. Luffy, and put into your hand. Okay, so it can even search up itself. So I think at this point, we might have 24 searchable targets, and in a top 3, that's pretty good. And again, that's without even having any further revisions. And at that rate, I will say maybe it does make sense to get rid of something like this Garp. And who knows, maybe I would like to have another 1-cost target in the deck. But hear me out, guys. This might sound crazy, but maybe at that point, maybe we even go up with the 1-cost. We go up 2K counters, and maybe we go up the Flampe. Because Flampe is actually pretty outrageously good when we're doing some of these combos here. Because if we can get down Odin, if Odin hits the board, okay, well now our opponent's probably going to be in a pretty decent amount of trouble. And going through extra cards, even cards in our life, and dropping our life down, this card makes a lot of sense now with Ace in the deck, with the 5-cost 7K Rush Ace in the deck. We might have to mess with that. Maybe in this version of the deck, Sanji's no longer necessary. It hurts me to say that, guys. I'm just going to remove it right now, and right here, right now, and I'm going to go +4 Flampe in the place of it. And now we still have the 4 spots. And what we might want to do, we can go up the 7-cost, let me go to blue cards as well. We can go up the 7-cost Odin, right here, and then with the remaining 3 cards, there's a card that a lot of Ace players are running right now. It's a yellow blocker. I think it's from OP10 or OP11. Yeah, from OP11. This Charlie card, I think its actual name is Shirley. The technical name of it, I think, is Shirley on the physical cards. But check this out, guys. 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter, blocker. Okay. On play, you may flip the top card of your life area face down, and then look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and reveal up to 1 Fishman Island type card, and add it to your hand. Then place the remaining cards, ready for this, at the top or bottom in any order, okay? So you can get past certain cards or keep certain cards at the top, right? I mean, you have to choose, like, do you want all 3 to be on the top or bottom? But if there's, like, a bunch of cards you just saw that aren't worth running, okay, just get rid of them. Move them to the bottom. So maybe this ends up being a card we run as, like, a 2 of, and then we would actually still have, actually, you know, now that I'm thinking about this, guys, maybe we go up these Namis. Let me say something real quick, guys. We're kind of all over the place, so bear with me as we kind of move around this deck here. But this Nami is incredible. It is just strictly better in every way, shape, and form than this Ace is, except we can play this Ace off the top of our deck. That's the only thing. That's legitimately the only thing that makes this Ace better than this Nami is basically our leader effect, right? The way our leader effect works with our 2-cost Aces and things like that. So, and I guess now technically even with searching, right? Even with the searching. But we're still going to keep 2 of these Namis. We got 2 of these Charlies in here, 2 of these puddings. And I would like to make a few revisions. I would like to maybe include something really massive once we get to OP13. Like maybe we get over to, I don't know what just happened there. It was like scrolling on me. But maybe once we get to OP13, we start running Edward Newgate. Because I will say either this 10-cost Edward Newgate or this 10-cost Edward Newgate, these could actually be very, very good into certain matchups. I have not taken the time to see how this deck does against Emu, but I would like to have access to something like this Edward Newgate right here if Emu does become a problem, because number one, it's a 10-cost 12K, and if we can chain these together, okay, well, that's a nice board you have there. Do you want to tack in with your whole board every single turn? Because if they do want to do that, they're trashing their entire hand. So now we can get super aggressive on the crackback, because remember how our leader works, guys. I mean, imagine if we establish this Edward Newgate and they try to swing all in on the next turn, and even if we just live with like 1 life, like 1 or 0 life, it doesn't matter. Now we can use our leader effect, and if we hit one of these rush aces, well, now we're just smashing in with, you know, and that's if we have the 2 cost, obviously. There's a lot of potential there, guys. Let me say it like this. If we get to steal second from Emu in OP13, and we go 8 Dawn turn Odin into 10 Dawn turn Edward Newgate, into next turn Edward Newgate, that might just be wraps for our opponent, because that's going to be the first turn. If we're going second, they have to wait an extra turn to do their 10 Dawn play. And okay, no problem. We'll just chain Edward Newgates back to back. And if that's the case, Yeah, that's bad news for my opponent, right? Because now I have all these 12Ks, and on the turn I decide to go for lethal, the things we can set up with this 5-cost 7K now, and with the 7-cost Odin, it could be really, really disgusting. Okay, that's all fun and all right. That's all nice, but for the time being, let me, back to reality, back to the here and now, back to the present. I think for the time being, I'll probably just, you can kind of choose what you want. If you want to go up one extra Pudding or one extra Shirley or one extra Nami, this is probably the best direction for the deck moving forward. And now that we do have this Searcher in here, and I think this is what you see on the screen here, guys, this is probably the direction for me moving forward. And at this rate right here, I think what I want to do, maybe this can search up Kazuki Odin, so maybe I'll just run 3 Kazuki Odins like we were running, and then I have 2 spots open in the deck. Maybe I'll go +2 Namis or +2 Charlies, or one other thing to really consider, maybe even +2 Nefeltari Vivi. Just an incredibly versatile card, guys. Just an absolutely incredibly versatile card. And another thing to consider, guys, this is all coming to me like as I'm thinking about this, guys, so bear with me. Maybe we don't need this Ace anymore since we have the 2K counter Ace to take the place of it. The 5-cost 6K 2K counter Ace from ST-13. Maybe we drop this, and now we can go up stuff elsewhere, right? We can move cards around, because since we took out in this version of the list here, we took out the Satori, right? Okay, so we went down. We just took out the 4 Satoris, and then I just now, right now, took out the 2 5-cost Aces from EB-02. Well, it's like, oh wait, but we just went down 2 Aces, and we went down 4 2K counters. Okay, but if we just include these 4 Aces here, we go up 4 Aces, so we go +2 Aces altogether, and we keep our 2K counter spot just the same. So that might need to be the way we need to go moving forward. And who knows, just for the sake of numbers, maybe we do go 4 of this 5-cost Ace. I only want 1 or 2 of these cards per game, like 2 on the top end, because I'd rather just keep recycling them with this Kazuki Odin. But I have to say, just as a means to get it in our hand, maybe we should run, maybe we should run 4 of these. Who knows? 3 is probably fine for now, because one other thing we have to really consider is this 4-cost event called Brilliant Punk. This comes out in OP13. Check this out, guys. 4-cost trigger, draw a card. It's Whitebeard Pirate, so we can search it up with our 1-cost event. But check this out. You may return 1 of your characters to the owner's hand. Any of your characters, like 1 of them. You can return 1 character to your hand, and then return up to 1 character with a cost of 6 or less to the owner's hand. So we could potentially do some awesome stuff with that, right? We could swing in for 7 with a turn with this card, pull it back to our hand, reuse it later. We probably couldn't reuse it on the same turn, because we need 2 Dawn for our leader and 5 Dawn for Ace. So if it's too bad this was not a 3-cost card, but hey, it is what it is. If at this rate, who knows, maybe we end up running the 2-cost Edward Teach, Edward Teach, guys. Not Edward Teach, Marshall D. Teach, rather. Maybe we run this card. This could open up some doors for us as well. But then if we start including this back, maybe we need to start including the 5-cost EB-02 Ace that searches up 2-cost characters. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm going to leave it right here. I could brainstorm this stuff all day. But what you see on the screen here, guys, it is 2 cards shy to put whatever you want in what you see here. Fix the numbers how you want to, add whatever you want to. There's 2 cards open, but this is the current direction that I recommend for the rest of OP12 going into OP12.5 with PRB-02. OP13, we'll have an update for that when it comes out, or when we get closer at least. All right, I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the outro on here. Guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're supporting me through PayPal or Patreon through donations, or if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all. And I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.